Okay, doing just about 8 minutes of review today, and then tomorrow is the big review day for the pre-calc test that's coming on Friday. Uh, this first one is a parabola. How do I know that? Well, because anything with x squared like this is going to be a u shape. Is this more like a mountain or more like a u? Mountain. Because of that negative, it's flipped over. And hopefully by now, you've already thought about factoring it, because if you can factor it, you should. And you should have said x plus 1 and x plus 5. That was a nice simple factoring job. All right, so now cell phones go away. I know we had a kind of a crazy day. You're getting candy in a moment because it's trick-or-treat time, and you don't even have to perform any tricks or even threaten to. I have food for you at the end. But I don't want you on your cell phone. I just need a few minutes of your time. All right. You've got it factored. You should make a sketch. A picture's worth 1,000 words. You've heard it before, and it's true in math too. It really, really, really helps to see this. All right, so then if I said I needed the roots, that's like spots like this and this, where would they be? X equals what for this one? -5, and x equals what for this one? -1. So I got -5. Let's say that's way out here, and -1. Let's move this one over to like right there. There's nothing right there, so I'll just get rid of that. Okay, and this is -1, and this is -5, and then it's a U or a mountain? Mountain, so it goes kind of like that. Would you agree so far I have sketched my parabola? Okay, probably good enough. I don't even need this unless I needed the range. Do you get if I needed the range, I need to find that spot? And there's a formula for that. -b over 2a. Okay, good. Then, if I don't really need that, I just really need to know when is this parabola that? And what does that mean? Greater than 0. What does greater than mean in words, like normal people words? Above. Where is this parabola above 0? Well, it's above 0 in that whole zone. This is where 0 is. Y equals 0. Remember, this whole thing's called f of x, right? So it is, all of it together is f of x. This is where 0 line is. And when is it above that line? Oh, in this little zone right here. And which number matters? Do you think the fact this is -5 comma 0, do you think it goes from 0 to 0? Does that make any sense? No, so it must be the x's that matter. So it's from -5, I understand, and -1. And what do I do? Do I do brackets or parentheses on them? So if you're not sure, here's what you do. You test -5. You actually stick it in. You see if it works. Does this equal 0? Yeah, that means this whole thing equals 0. And does 0 satisfy the rest of it? Is 0 greater than or equal to 0? Yeah, so since it works, bracket. Bracket on the -5. And if we tried -1, we'd pretty quickly figure out that, yeah, it also equals 0. And since it's an or equal to, that's what makes this a bracket. So there we go, from -5 to -1. How many of you would have had that one right? Okay, awesome. Do you get that it might be more complicated factor? You mean you know how to factor, right? So it could be more complicated factoring, but other than that, that's kind of what you have to do for that kind. Now let's do another one that's similar. Question first. All right, so if you had to like try to solve these and you're thinking somehow that oh, I get what you're saying. Nope, I do not need to get rid of the negative because I want it equal to 0. The parabola is flipped. Look at it. Okay. All right. That's all right. That's all right. If I hadn't flipped my parabola yet, you'd have a very good point. All right. Okay. So moving on. Let's say we had one like this. This you do not need to make a picture for. I'll put a negative on that. Is less than or equal to 0. Solve. Hint. This is the kind you do just with algebra. Don't try to draw the picture of it. You could actually, but I think it's way harder. Just solve it. Start by your adding and subtracting. Then do multiply and divide. Then break it out of the absolute values. So last one we have to do today. Just do a good job on it. And then we'll review the other stuff tomorrow. Now, my advice to you is that you should start making your review worksheet tonight. Tomorrow you'll have just gone through 45 minutes in a row of intense problem solving in class, and you aren't going to feel like making any kind of a review worksheet. If you made the review worksheet tonight, you'd be really nice to yourself. It's something I've learned. There's now you and there's later you. Now you could be really nice to later you. But you know what? Both of them are really you. So be nice to yourself by doing a little bit of the work tonight. Otherwise, later you is going to be pissed at now you because you were lazy and didn't do anything. And now it's all on later you. Get what I'm saying? So you got too nice to review. And if you put it all onto tomorrow, you probably won't end up getting that much review done. And you probably might end up with a B where you could have had an A. One last thought on that. If you have a review process that is working for you and you're getting A's, I'm a big believer. If you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting. But if your average in this class is anything less than a 4.0, then whatever your review process is not been good enough. It's that simple. Keep doing what you're doing. You keep getting what you're getting. If you're getting A's, you'll probably keep getting A's. Just keep doing what you've been doing. But if you're feeling like, and if I look across the grade book, there's a lot of A's. But there's also a lot of A minuses and a fair amount of B pluses. So if that's you, then you need to change something. One easy way is step up on your review day. All right. Plus 3, plus 3. Draw a line. Does sign switch based on me adding 3? No, sign does not switch for that. How about it multiplying by -1 or dividing by -1? Does that make this sign switch? Yes, I hope you remembered that. Oh, what did I forget? Yes, 3. Sorry, thank you. 0 plus 3 is 3, for sure. Okay. Now, the sign has switched. Don't forget that. And it's going to switch again in a second. I'm going to split this into 2 parts. No, I added 3 to both sides because it was a -3 here. So, oh, dang it, I didn't show my work and I screwed up. You are absolutely right. Sorry, you're right. Okay, now, some people might be concerned at this point, like, wait a minute, when is an absolute value going to be equal to -3? It won't. But could it be bigger than -3? Can an absolute value come out bigger than -3? Yeah, it can come out bigger than -3. So don't think that this one's a no solution. There could be solutions that work. All right, so let's finish this up. Is x plus 4 greater than or equal to -3? Is that how you start? Yeah, you just drop the absolute values. Really simple. What's the other one then? X plus 4 is what? Is less than or equal to regular 3. Good. And then I just solve those 2 equations. If I put it all together on a number line, it really sometimes helps to clarify what's going on. Oops, not that kind of number line. This kind of number line. -7, -1. Bigger than or equal to -7, less than or equal to -1. There we go. There's your answer. That's a -7. Sorry, it's a little messy. All right, we'll do more review tomorrow. You should make a review worksheet tonight. And I'll pause for a second because I got a question about it. Okay, absolutely fascinating answer. I've never had this happen before, but based on the numbers I picked on this problem, this is all the answers that I wrote as right answers here are correct. -1 does, no, actually, let me think about this. -1 doesn't really work, I don't think. I'm going to check it here. Let me see. -1. -1 plus 4 makes 3, and his absolute value of 3 is 3. Is 3 bigger than or equal to -3? Yeah, it does. Okay, I'm sorry. This does work. So does this, but it looks like, actually, I'm wrong. It's not just from -7 to -1. It's actually all numbers work. Everything works. And the way you could have tested that to make sure you did it right was you could have tested the endpoints and you thought, oh, that works. But you could have tested another number, like, for instance, 0. 0 is not supposed to work. Let's go put it in and see what happens. We have a 0 here. We have the absolute value of 4. which would be 4, is 4 bigger than or equal to negative 3? Yes. And if you just think about this statement, any absolute value would have to be bigger than negative 3. So in other words, anything would work. So in other words, the answer in this case is all real numbers, because absolute values, by definition, are always going to be bigger than negative numbers. So this looked like I had an answer, and it's kind of like the whole extraneous answer thing, but these answers are true. This works, and everything in between here works, but actually everything works in both directions. So this was an extra sneaky one. I don't think we would do anything that tricky to you. I want to show you a picture of what's happening, just in case you really want to understand this a little bit better, and just partially to help myself understand what happened. The absolute value that I had here is an absolute value moved to the left 4. And so if I make a quick sketch, that's kind of like that. Then I have the line y equals negative 3, and that runs like this. And the question is, when is the absolute value bigger than or equal to negative 3? Well, it'll never equal negative 3 because these never touch. But this is always bigger than this line here. So the answer is all real numbers. Okay, that was an extra tricky one. And the process we use to solve this, that's the main thing I would use this problem for, is you have to know how to algebraically solve absolute values. All right, we will be doing a lot more review tomorrow, but that's what I got for you for today. Have a good day.